Right, let's take a look here at our agenda. Talk about the learning intentions and success criteria. We'll get into that Canva whiteboard. We'll use Gemini Canvas to make a slide deck. We'll get into Notebook LM. I was thinking we'll add that slide deck to a Notebook LM. If you've not used that before, it's kind of cool. I know that I talked about some of this stuff in other sessions, trying to think of new ways to use it, though, and repurposing some of the old stuff. We're going to use Gemini Canvas to make an interactive app. There's a new functionality. If you've done that before, you can now download the file and then make that file available to students. So that way it can not just live in your Gemini, it can live out and about your classroom too. And then we'll use a gem to create an AI tutor. Let's get started here. Let me actually pull this up. We'll do the learning intention. So we're learning how to leverage Canvas, Notebook LM, custom gems to design engaging interactive instructional resources and AI-driven student supports based off of classroom standards. We'll use Gemini Canvas to make a slide deck and an HTML app. We'll navigate through Notebook LM. We'll see what it looks like from the student's perspective, and then we'll make our own. I feel like I've built in a little bit of time for us to kind of like me turn off my camera and microphone and then have you guys make some of these things on your own. That way I'm not just talking for a full 60 minutes, 57 minutes at this point. And then we're going to create, instruct, and test a custom AI tutor gem that's tailored to support student learning. If you haven't used gems before, I feel like I've been overthinking gems. We can make them really easy. And so I was going to just have you make one and we'll go from there. All right. So our first thing on the agenda here is to access this Canva whiteboard. This also has some AI capabilities. So if you participate in this, put the link into the chat. If you participate with this, I'll show you how you can use this in your classroom and use some of the Canva AI capabilities. So let's go ahead. I'll turn my camera and microphone off. What I'd like you guys to do is respond to this question. What is one classroom standard or topic you find challenging to make interactive? And how do you hope AI might help transform that today? So if you're looking at my Meet screen, look at the toolbar on the left-hand side. You should see something that says, if you mouse over, it says sticky notes. So if I click on that sticky note, I like red, choose a color, and then we'll want to move this off to the side. Notice that if you're logged in too, it also has your name on there. If you use this tool for students, they'll want to be logged in as well. That way, you know who's typing what. So yeah, and you can also resize these as well. This is what Canva calls an infinite whiteboard, right? So we can really spread out if we wanted to. I'm using the slider on the bottom to zoom out. And so there you go. All right. So find a little space on the whiteboard. I'll turn off my microphone and my camera. Let's take about 2-3 minutes to respond to this question. And then I'll show you how we can use AI and Canva in a moment. People are writing that they do not have a toolbar on the left-hand side. Log in through Clever. Yeah, if you don't see a toolbar on the left, log in through Clever and then access that link. How do you get the sticky note? The sticky note, if you have a toolbar, if you've logged in properly, the sticky note should exist on the left-hand side. If you've not logged in through Clever, then you won't have a sticky notes. Lost the page. Here's the link again. Let's take another 1 minute. Right. I think there's 8 seconds left, 5 seconds on our timer. We've done about 3 minutes. All right, and that is time. So finish up your last sentence or so, and I'll show you if you're looking at my Meet screen. Let's go back to that. We'll zoom out a little bit. Okay, yeah, nobody took me up going too far away from the center, and that's a good thing. So let's do this. I'm just going to pretend like I see a lot of movement still happening, trying to find some spots, jockeying for position. Looks like most of us gave some substantive answers here. Let's do this. I'm going to select all of your answers. So look at my and push delete. No, I'm joking. And so I'm going to select them all. Look at my screen. If everybody could just stop moving, let's go back to the Meet and look at the visual now. So what I've done as the teacher and the creator of this whiteboard is I've selected all of your answers, and then look what I got. I got this little magic pencil over here in Canva. If you're looking where my mouse is, right here. So if I click there, look at what I can do. I can create a summary. And so when I do that, AI will take all of your answers and kind of give me some general ways that you have responded to it. Pretty cool. So AI very quickly, let's take a look here. By the way, if you have students that are going to be like moving things around for you, I'm just going to select this and then I can lock it. See, when I select it, I can click lock and now you can't move it. So it's, in fact, that's what I did with the prompt, this initial prompt. So notice you can't move that around or anything like that. So, all right, so let's take a look here if we can. So some of you guys said the summary here written by AI based off of all of your answers. You're going to explore AI for interactive prompt writing, vocabulary enhancement, creating interactive slides, enhancing student motivation for graphing some quadratic and rational functions. We've got some math teachers out there addressing challenges and teaching fractions. All right, moving down to, ooh, I like that it kind of separated this based off of topics like language and reading engagement, improving engagement with reading prompts, active versus passive voice, broad instructional or educational strategies, develop interactive methods for reviewing. It's kind of cool, right? Pretty wild stuff, I think. Consider new activities for diversification of teaching methods, discuss leadership characteristics for subject-specific learning, and you kind of get the point. So kind of neat, right? Imagine a bell ringer in the very beginning of class, and you guys can put this out there, and instead of reading every single individual one, I'd raise your hand, let us know individually what you thought, and then I can now create this AI generated summary that does some pretty heavy lifting to take all of your responses at the same time and give me a couple paragraphs of text. Here's another way. Take a look at this. I don't know what it's going to do, but let's I'm going to select all of these again, and then I'll go back to that magic pencil. Let's click create, and I'll click generate quiz. But maybe now I've got this quiz here. This, I don't know what kind of question it's going to create, but let me zoom in on it. All right, if you guys are still on the Canva, I'd like you to respond to this question. What tool can enhance students' motivation and understanding when learning to graph quadratic equation functions? Maybe not the best question for all of the participants here today, but In fact, I don't even, let's see what it says. Standard graph paper, interactive graphing software, or printed worksheets. Can we click on it? I mean, you can vote, right? So you click on which one you think it would be and then click submit. I'm assuming you guys are doing, yeah, I see Callie kind of, I guess I can't see really which ones you're clicking, but generally where you're mousing over, it's kind of interesting. Now you might be wondering, where are the responses? Look at the toolbar up at the top. So if you're looking at my Meet screen, as the teacher here, I've selected the question, and now I can click on responses. What is it? Let me get there. View responses. Can I? Okay. Thought it was going to give me like a beautiful, you know, graph, I suppose, but yeah, that was a little bit of a letdown. Gosh, I thought it was going to be a big, beautiful bar graph, but it's giving me your specific ways. So maybe that's a good thing because then I can give you a grade, right? Maybe a formative grade. Most of us are saying interactive graphic software. It looks like pretty cool. Joy, I don't know what you mean. Where can I see that? So I clicked on, I think from my teacher view, I think since I created this, I have the ability to look at your responses. So I've selected the quiz. And then there's this little area up here, if you're looking at our Meet for the visual, I've clicked on responses, and that's how I can pull up all of the students' responses. Like I said, I thought it was going to be a beautiful bar graph, but it's actually given me your specific answers, right? So if I wanted to somehow turn that into a point or two in the gradebook, I could do that. Let me show you another thing here. Since today is not just about Gemini, I mean, Canva has some pretty great AI capabilities here. Look at this. I can also use very quickly, let me see how I can do this. Yeah, okay. Oh, all right, so let's see. I'm going to get a text box going. It's like, how do I do this again? Let me click text. I'm going to add a text box, which it's done right here. Now, so I have all of you guys on this, so let me just kind of move it a little bit and make it larger. There we go. All right, so I've selected this text box. I've got that magic pencil. Let's click that. And I can now, if I wanted to, I can prompt anything. So let's see, write some content on quadratic equations. Let's just see what it does. Maybe this isn't how you, yeah, okay. Let's replace, oh gosh, it needs a little bit of work. I noticed that AI has a really hard time with formatting. Formatting like problems for math questions. And it looks like this is no exception. Gosh, that's kind of annoying, isn't it? I'm just having to like make this text box now smaller to get all of the wording onto one. Remember how I said this is my first period doing this class? Something's going to get cut next time I do it. I wonder what it's going to be. This part. Because this is not great, is it? All right, yeah, look at that. Oh, yeah. I don't even want to read that. Anyway, yeah, so there you go. I've got some, whatever this is. I've selected it again. I'm going to follow through with this because this is where I was thinking. Let's imagine that I had some content. And if I wanted, rather than like a survey of what you guys were thinking, I wanted a substantive question. Let's see what it can do. So I've selected the content. Click on that magic right. Let's generate that quiz again. And apparently zoom out because it could be literally, oh, there it is. Okay. There we go. So now I've got maybe a more content related question that, again, I don't even want to read. Having a hard time with those exponents, it looks like, huh? Although kind of still a good question. I don't know if you're able to read that sort of thing. All right. You get the point. So, hey, there's ways that we can unlock AI in your instruction. We've been on this Canva whiteboard here for the past 10 minutes, and I've shown you a couple ways that you can harness Canva AI capabilities. And there's so much more to Canva AI. You can make worksheets, you can make interactive worksheets that we're not even going to touch on today. And then, by the way, get them out to your students through links very easily. Take a look at my Meet screen. Look at the, you probably don't see it if you're a participant on this, but let's say that I wanted to get this out to students. In the upper right-hand corner, I click on Assign, and I can put this into a Google Classroom pretty easily. So I clicked on Assign. Imagine it's not a whiteboard. Instead, it's one of those interactive AI-generated handouts that were created through AI, Explore AI, because it's really easy to do. Click Continue. And so now I can get that out to my students pretty easily. If you just wanted to get the link to an interactive whiteboard like this, what I did for you guys earlier was that first of all, I created the whiteboard, and then I clicked on this share button up here. I changed the settings so that anyone with the link can edit. And then I grabbed that link and I put it into my slide deck, right? If you have a Canvas class or a Google Classroom class, you can get those links out to your students pretty easily that way too. All right. Oh, and also look, from the share settings, this is also, looks like it's connecting with Google Classroom pretty easily. So it looks like I'm able to get that in there too, a little pop-up that you can't see the way I'm sharing my screen. But all right, pretty cool. So that's one way we can unlock some AI in our classroom using Canva. Let's use Gemini Canvas now to make a slide deck. Earlier, I asked you guys to think about a topic that you'd like to explore and create some resources for. So this is the opportunity here to do that. What we're going to do is get into Gemini. Let me put the link into the chat. There it is. Let's go ahead and open up that link, please. If you want to follow along and see what I'm doing on the Meet screen, or you can just all narrate it as well if you've got a different tab open. So I just opened up Google Gemini. If this is the first time you used Gemini, you might need to authorize your use with it, go through and start clicking until you get to a text field. And that chatbot is exactly where we're going to hang out here for a moment. This is where you interact with the Gemini. When I talk with AI, have that conversation with AI, that's exactly what you should be doing with AI, is having a conversation. If it's not giving you the output that you thought that you'd want, maybe the text or content is over the heads of your students, have that conversation with the student, with the AI, and ask it to modify its output until you're happy with what you're getting. I wanted to point out here too, so there's our text field. That's where we're going to put in our prompt eventually. Let's click on that plus sign. Right here, this plus sign. So this is all the different tools that we have available. I think you guys have Create Image. You can make some really dynamic infographics and visuals that you can use in your class pretty easily. Guided Learning is a really great tool that acts as like a Socratic peer or a peer tutor for your students. Having them interact with your content with that tool activated, if you guys are at a school with AI turned on, is going to be good. I don't care too much for when AI starts making art and music. Like, it's one thing to make an infographic visual, it's another to like make a photo, in my opinion. I'm a photographer, so I kind of don't, I'm not the biggest fan of that. I also don't really like the music either. So I don't tend to use those. There's Canvas, so we're going to use that one in a minute. And then also Deep Research. Deep Research is great because it'll create a 20-page doc that I think is with background information, links to relevant resources, that creates an output actually that could go into a Notebook LM. And when we get into Notebook LM in about 15 minutes or so, I'll repeat that. It could become one of our sources pretty easily. All right, but the tool that I'd like you guys to select is Canvas. This is Gemini's Canvas. It's not connected to the Canvas LMS or anything like that. I wish they didn't call it Canvas, because we always have to give that disclaimer now, it seems. But Canvas allows us to make interactive apps. It helps us make handouts like good old-fashioned Google Docs. It will also create a slide deck for us too. This is what I was thinking we could do. So I used to teach AP Environmental Science. By the way, I'm Chris Justice. I'm a coordinator with the Digital Learning and Instructional Technology Department. I've been an educator here in this district for 16 years. And I used to teach AP Environmental Science. So the topic that I'm going to use today is thermal inversions. I was thinking eutrophication, the algal blooms that we're seeing in Washington, D.C., but maybe that'll be for a different session. But I'm thinking maybe thermal inversions would be kind of interesting. So that's topic 7.3. So I'm going to say APES topic 7.3, make me a slide deck. And now I've got to make sure that I've selected Canvas as my tool. And the key word here is slide deck. I've given a little bit of context here. Maybe I can say for relevant for 11th grade students, make me a slide deck. All right. Prompt something like that and see what happens. Let's click submit. You guys should be doing the same thing on your end. Cross your fingers. Don't forget. You probably read that article, Keith, about how it's costing millions of dollars because people are so polite to AI, right? But you're right. Saying please and thank you. I used to be a little nicer to the AI. Now I'm not as nice as I used to be. All right, you guys should be doing the same thing for your topic on your end. This is relatively new if you haven't touched Gemini in a minute. It used to not do this, and now it does. If it's not creating slides, there's a chance that you have not selected Canvas as your tool. Ah, okay, good, Annie. All right. It worked out. Go through, vet it. Kind of dry. I don't know, a little bit on my end, maybe not on yours. I noticed, I used to love to do good old-fashioned Kagan strategies. I would make my 11th graders do a hand up, stand up, pair up. They hated it, but they loved it. You know what I mean? Like all they want to do is talk, and so you give them an opportunity to talk, and it doesn't require any technology at all. So I'm thinking, like, I'm going to say, give me a few slides with some hand up, stand up, pair up discussion prompts to increase interactivity. That's old-fashioned interactivity, isn't it? For me, so go through it, add some more stuff. Say, hey, this is a little lacking in visuals. Give me some good, pictures in there, please. Joy, I'm not sure what that means. Something that popped up and says select a certificate. I don't know what that means. I'm in Gemini. I'm assuming that you're not like in ChatGPT or something like that. Oh God. It really completely changed for me. Somehow made it worse. Just click out of it. Okay, Kristen's seeing the same issue. Maybe it's your browser. I don't know, right? Rebecca's also seeing it. Are you guys on a, yeah, help me out here. If this is more than just one person. And if it says select a certificate, are you selecting a certificate? What happens if you do that? All right. Google Chrome thing, something to do with an update, I believe. All right. Yeah, I'm trying to get my slides here to, it took away when I like reprompted it and said, give me some prompts. It didn't understand it. And so I was like, where did all the content go? I'm trying to get mine to look so it has some content, but it also has a couple slides maybe with some prompts in there. All right, take a moment. I'm glad this has taken a second too, because you might be still just getting started. But where we're going with this in a moment, if you're happy with the way that your slide deck looks and feels, click on Export to Slides. All right. Ooh, gorgeous. Ah, mine's kind of cool. It gave me the content in the first half, and in the second half, it gave me the hand up, stand up, pair up. That's great, right? And he says, hey, I like this. I'm making interactive instruments of the orchestra slide deck with listening response activities. Perfect. Leslie said, I created eighth grade ELA vocab slide deck. Pretty happy. Keith likes this. Good. Joyce saying it's worked. Thank goodness. Just clicked OK, clicked out of it. All right, good. Fixing issues. All right, so I'm happy with the way mine looks too. So in the upper right, near the upper right, we'll click Export to Slides. Joanna's into this too. I'm liking this, guys. This is a new thing. Like I said, like the Gemini Canvas was only making slide decks and those apps. And the fact that it's making this, I'm sorry, the docs and the apps, and the fact that it's making slide decks now that we can open up in slides and like further make it better is only a good thing. Let's click Open Slides. Gorgeous. And it looks actually not terrible. Sometimes it's like a little much, but it's nice and gentle actually on my eyes. I love too, if you looked at the very last slide, it did this with me. I'm assuming it's happening with you guys. Is it's giving me the sources for those images. I don't know if Reddit is like the best. We're just going to go with it, but kind of wild. It's giving us some sources of where it's getting the information from. All right. Kristen says, I told mine to make it active and passive voice more interesting and entertaining, so then it changed the theme to be about a zombie apocalypse. Is that what you were thinking? More interesting. All right, good. I like it. Yeah, we could probably even now go back and like, okay, so I don't know, I'm just kind of thinking about this. I'm going to go back to Gemini. I'll say, I'm just going to get back to that original view here. I've already created that slide deck. That should now be in my drive. Let me just verify this because that's kind of the first time I've done one, to be honest with you. Yeah, there it is. Sure enough, in my drive. It's likely in your drive as well. Yeah, Annie, it might not be 100% perfect. So that's one of the cool things here. So the fact that we can now open it up in slides and say, okay, I don't like this picture, right? Let's click replace, and I can come in and find something else, like maybe something on the web here. Let's see, how about smog? So I can come in and change it out, right, if I wanted to. So yeah, if their clip art's no good, replace them, do something different. All right, but yeah, the cool thing now is that you can, as the human, take over, right? The AI has given us a starting point for sure, and now we can go in and actually vet it and say, well, I didn't really like where the AI put this in, and instead of like reprompting the AI a million times, now as the human, we can take over and make it our own. So here's what I was thinking of doing. Like now we can say, okay, I go back to my Gemini. Now that that slide deck is in my drive, take a look what I can do with this plus sign. So look at my Meet screen. I'll click on the plus sign, and I want to add that slide deck from the drive. So I can add that file now, and I'm just going to create a new chat. I'll say, create a compelling hook for this lesson. include a closing question or something like that, right? How about compelling hook options? Like, for this lesson on how to start it with my students. I'd like them to get out of their seat. All right, so here, let me put this into the chat. If you just wanted to copy my prompt, let's see what it makes. Hey, I'm working smart, right? I've got my content now. This is going to help me create some options on how I can start out the class, maybe hopefully getting the kids out of their seats too. Oh, yay. I love this. It says files and prompt exceeds Gemini's context window. Oh, cool. I think that the pictures that it used made the files too big. Hey, anybody else having that issue? However, it still gave me some hooks, and maybe it looked at the title of it or something like that, right? Along with a closing question. Hey, I've got my whole lesson now, right? I feel like I can do one of these openers here, 15 minutes. I've got my content. We're going to take some good old-fashioned notes. I can make that slide deck available to students. I can add areas for students to type in if I wanted to, right? Turn it into a good old-fashioned assignment. I got my closing question. I just did a 52-minute class period in what, 30 minutes or so, and that's with me talking a lot. What do you think? Thoughts? Maybe. All right, good. Kristen's in. Becca's into it. Sure. All right, good. Yeah. Joanna's also in. Nancy, all right, good. Giving me some options. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just spitballing here too, right? I mean, we can go in a million different ways. If I wanted to, watch this. This is going to blow your mind. I probably, if you've been on some of my sessions before, you've probably seen Google Classroom before. I know I'm probably going to give you guys cognitive overload today, but if I get into, just follow the link in the chat. Annie says, I'm new to all of this. Is Gemini, using Gemini makes sites follow copyright. So you can't copyright content that wasn't made by a human. So, we're assuming that whatever sources it's using, and by the way, have that conversation with Gemini. What are your sources for the content, right? Have that conversation, ask it where it's getting its information from. If it's common knowledge, it might just be repurposing or recombining something that you'd find on Wikipedia, for example. But like, there's no copyright issues with the content because it wasn't human made. And that's actually true with the images too, and any of the art that's produced by AI. Now, some of those pictures in my slide deck were actually sourced from real live, non-AI produced areas. And it looks like that last page, it gave me the sources of where those images came from, which is cool. So I put that link to Google Classroom, the AI features, in our chat. Take a look. Click on generate a quiz, right? Let's say I wanted to do, I didn't want to do that compelling hook. It's going to take too long. The kids are too loud. Oh my goodness. I'm just going to make a formative quiz at the end of it, right? I want it to be self-graded. So I typed in, for me, my target grade's 11th. I'm going to have 10 questions, and I'll put in apes topic 7.3 thermal inversions. Start clicking the buttons. Take a look at the bottom. If you're looking at my Meet screen right now, I've got some option question types. I don't want to have to read or grade anything. I want it to be automatically graded. So I'll choose multiple choice and true false. If I choose short answer or long answer, I'll have to grade those. There's not an AI that's grading that stuff yet, I suppose. But the multiple choice stuff is generate questions. So let's say I didn't want to do hand up, stand up, pair up. I wanted a little bit more concrete data here that I can put into the grade book. It's given me 10 questions. I'd have to vet these, of course. Scroll down to the bottom where it says export. I can add this to a Google Class easily, or I can get the link out through Canvas in the form of a form. Oops. Let me do that again. Export to forms. And then it will take all of those questions and create a little quiz for me. Jared says, oh, this is a hack, huh? If you provide AI a rubric and or student exemplar, it can grade written responses. I suppose you still have to get the written responses up there, but you know what? Now that I'm thinking about this, Jared, like think about the responses from this quiz. This quiz has got 10 questions in it. Maybe I did have a short answer question, right? And so what if I probably want to take off the student names, but I could probably say like, hey, you know, in column F, our student responses, I want you to grade each of those student responses based off the student exemplar and then give me some feedback for each of the students or something like that, right? I wonder if that would work. But that, yeah, like uploading this, just like we uploaded that slide deck earlier, we can also upload a form and maybe ask it to take a look at some of the responses in a certain column. Do we need to remove the names if we use Notebook LM? Yeah, I would never put any personally identifiable information into an AI platform. So if it's a student, right, that you know, just be careful about that. I would not do that. But yeah, so that becomes the case too. Like, okay, we'll probably have to get rid of this email address or something like that. Or, you know, make a copy of the slide. There's got to be a way to remove the student names or have the students be associated with a letter instead of their actual name. Maybe that's something that they put into their form. I don't know. There's got to be a process procedure that we probably make up in our class to make that happen. All right. Speaking of, so yeah, we just made some bunch of stuff. Let me go back over here. I'm kind of winging it right now here. So we just used Gemini Canvas to make a slide deck. Let's pull that slide deck into Notebook LM. Really wasn't planning on showing you guys that form quiz thing, so hopefully that didn't eat up too much of our time. We got about 20 minutes left. Let's do this actually. All right, so let's come down here. I want you guys to check out this Notebook LM. You know, I made this for yesterday's training. If you were in the face-to-face training, I hope that might be a repeat if you've already seen this, but I think it is important to chat about. Our district, our superintendent has come up with a strategic plan, a 5-year strategic plan for the destination district of Clark County School District. You know, a lot of our students are deciding to go to charter schools instead of staying here in Clark County within our schools. And so that's kind of what the district destination means. Like, let's make our schools a place where you want to send your kids instead of the competition, essentially, right? Keeps us having a job, certainly, right? If we don't lose those students to elsewhere. So in an effort to do that, Joan came up with a strategic plan to do that, right? And what I did was in this Notebook LM, if you're looking at my screen right now, I've added that multi-page PDF doc in as a source. That's the fun thing about these Notebook LMs is that I can add sources. I click add source in the upper left. I can upload the PDF, which is what I did with that strategic plan. I can go to websites. I can add things from my drive, like let's say that slide deck from earlier. I can even copy and paste text from a place, or I can just look for sources, right? Just Google it. Good old-fashioned Googling will get you a bunch of sources real fast. That's the best way to get started with the Notebook LM. Your first one especially is just look to see what it can find online. What else was I going to say? Oh, also, do you remember when I was mentioning the deep research? Let's say that you're using deep research for your topic and you've got an academic paper with a lot of resources, a lot of content in there. That can become one of your sources. You upload that from your drive once AI has created for it, and now you can interact with it. What's cool about Notebook LM is that so on the left-hand side of your screen are the sources. In this case, I just have one, the strategic plan. In the center is the chat.
Chris, I'm so sorry to interrupt. Can you give us access to the Notebook LM, please?
Can you guys not get, okay, did I not put the link here? Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. Okay, little bit of a test. Can you open that up? I apologize. Can you see what I'm seeing? Doesn't work.
Says we need access.
You know what's wild is that so I tried this, watch this. I tried this out on an incognito window and it seemed to work. So let me just, for fun, otherwise we're going to have to do something different here. All right, let's do this. So if I did this earlier. I was like, okay, it seems to work. So I'm in an incognito window. I am not logged. Oh, I am logged in. Why am I logged in my incognito window? Ay. All right, let's try it again. So this is what you guys are seeing. Got you. Oh, come on. Okay. This is going to take too much time. Let's do this. Okay. Okay, here's what I want you guys to do. You are going to join this class. I'm hoping that this is going to take real quick. Click on that link I just put in there. I tried that out. I apologize, guys, folks, people. Click on that link, join this class. And then what I'd like you to do is find where it says Notebook LM. I clicked on classwork. This is a way that you can get a Notebook LM out to your students. The problem with what I was doing, I'd actually need to add each of you individually to that Notebook LM for you to be able to do it. But now that I've got you guys enrolled within this classroom, now you can access the Notebook LM here. So I've clicked on the invite link. I've clicked on classwork, and then find the link that says Notebook LM on the destination district. And that was my solution to get most of you hopefully in there. This Joanna's telling me it works now. All right, that worked. Whew. What was the code again? That was the link that I sent you. So let's see. Just click on that link. Link is now in the chat. We got about 15 minutes left, folks. I want you to ask one question of the Notebook LM. Imagine that you're a student then in my classroom, and I've given you a Notebook LM with some content. One question that you can ask are, what are durable skills, which is a concept that shows up quite a bit in this strategic plan. And how do I teach them? About 50 words or less. It's okay, Amanda. So ask one question. What does this mean for my job as a second grade teacher? What the Notebook LM is doing is it will answer your question using only the context provided by those uploaded sources. And that's what makes it really great for students, right? If you want to kind of control a little bit about the sources and the information that your students are able to interact with, this is a way to do it, right? With a Notebook LM, when they ask the AI for an answer, that answer is only coming from the sources. In this case, the strategic plan. It doesn't go out into the World Wide Web and also help to inform that answer. In fact, what's really cool, if you're looking at my Meet screen right now, when I asked what are durable skills and how do I teach them 50 words or less, not only did it give it to me 50 words or less, it's also telling me where in the doc it's finding that information. If you're looking here, those little number subscripts there. How does this know to align to Nevada standard? It doesn't, right? It doesn't. You can probably add those standards here if you wanted to, but yeah, that's maybe one of the drawbacks. So maybe, yeah. Yeah. You can add those standards as one of the sources. I think would be a good way to do it. In this case, because it's like the strategic plan, it's not really an academic thing. I mean, maybe put the Constitution, the United States Constitution up there. And then the way that you're teaching how to interact with it becomes part of those standards, right? Or you're using the standards to help you allow students to engage with whatever sources you have here. But yeah, I think it all kind of depends on how you frame it. So you're looking at your student view here. On my teacher view, if you're looking at the Meet screen, I've got all of these tools in the studio that are really awesome. In fact, you guys can interact with those on your end too. Like this little symbol here, the architecting the destination. This is like a 7-minute video overview that talks about the content. Same thing, there's a slide deck. I know that we made a slide deck within Canvas earlier. This one takes it to the next level, I suppose, with its design elements, and gives a different modality here that the students can engage with. And that's what I really love about this. There's this push towards the multimodal classroom, giving students as many different ways to interact with your materials as possible, rather than just giving them the good old-fashioned slide deck, right? We're giving them the slide deck, we're giving them an audio podcast, we're giving them an audio overview. I love the flashcards. I know my students, I'd catch them using those flashcards all the time, right before a test, especially, right? If this was more content related. There's also the ability to make different quizzes too. If you click on the chevrons for each of these options in the studio, like audio overview, I have a little bit more control as to what the output looks like. I can change the length of the audio podcast. I can also talk about what the hosts of this podcast, the AI hosts, focus on in the issue, which is kind of cool, right? So if I typed in durable skills, this will be, excuse me, an audio overview of 2 AI hosts talking about the durable skills aspect found within the strategic plan. Now, some of these tools here take 5-10 minutes to make, so you won't be able to check out that audio overview until it's finished. But save this link, play around with what the output looks like from the student's perspective. What I'd like you guys to do first, though, is to click Create Notebook at the top. Samantha Wolf, we are at a Notebook LM, and we're about to create our first notebook. So you can go to notebooklm.google.com, or from the strategic plan, let's click on Create Notebook at the top. And this is where I was thinking what we'll do is let's add that slide deck from our files, from our drive, the slide deck that we made earlier. Excuse me. And for me, let's take about 2 minutes or so. I'm adding I just clicked Create Notebook. I've added in that slide deck that I made earlier. I'm going to also click Add Sources. I'm just going to use the web here because thermal inversions are a concept that I know is going to be all over the internet. Look for some other information. You guys are doing the same thing here. Oh my God. Overplanned today. Yeah, 9 minutes. All right. But a little introduction maybe to a Notebook LM, and then play around with create at least one item, right? I added a bunch of stuff based off of my topic here. And let's say that I wanted to, if you're looking at my Meet screen here, let's say that I didn't want to use all of my sources to create that video overview or to create like maybe the flashcards, we'll say. I can deselect all of these, and when I just select the sources I want, now we'll make those flashcards, and the flashcards will now be made only based off of those selected sources. Not everybody knows that part of it. Otherwise, those flashcards will draw from all 10 of the sources here I have available in my new Notebook LM. All right, so play around a little bit, and how about this? I'll hang out after the session today. We've got about 8 minutes left. And if you have any questions about Notebook LM, then I'll be more than happy to answer them. All right, yeah, we're gonna pull this off. All right, we'll do this in 4 minutes. Let's go to Gemini Canvas. Should not have been talking about all the other stuff. My goodness. Getting into Canva. Yay, way too much. Click on gemini.google.com, please. Just like last time, we selected Canvas as a tool. Let's do the same thing. So we'll click on that plus sign. We'll click on Canvas. And then our prompt is going to be build an interactive app on topic or standard, and then put in your information that you've been working on. So our topic is, or our prompt is, build an interactive app on, and then you fill in the blank. Make sure that you have Canvas selected. And hopefully you guys are doing the same thing on your end. It'll take a moment. Created a pretty cool simulator for me last time I did this. I'm curious, like for science, though, I feel like the science teachers might really love these apps more than other teachers might, but you know, curious what you guys are making out there. All right. Yeah. Yeah, 5 minutes left. How are you guys doing out there? A thumbs up? Too much today? I apologize. I threw in the kitchen sink today, not thinking I had enough stuff. And sure enough, I had a lot and more. Isn't that usually the case, right? When you do one of these lessons, you're like, okay, we're going to do this tomorrow. Problem is, I don't have it tomorrow with you guys. So I'm thinking at 2 p.m. we'll end it, but I'll keep recording and I'll do, if you want to hang out and keep going, then we'll do a little bonus session of the video that I'll send out. I'll do the gems. That way I'm not rushing through it. Hopefully that'll be okay with you guys. Yeah, it is great info. Yeah, thank you. There's just lots of stuff. I agree. I kitchen sinked this one today, didn't I? All right, here's if you're looking at my Meet screen, that'll give you the feedback survey. We'll do gems as a bonus if you want to hang out. If you want to not hang out, I will not take offense to it. This is a new functionality. You've probably seen these apps before, these interactive apps. They're awesome. Usually in the past, so like even last month, they just existed on my teacher screen. I couldn't really get them out to students very easily without having to like know HTML code and where to embed that code. So take a look right up here. Look at my Meet screen for the visual. There's a new download button. what I can do is take a look, download this as an HTML. Oh God. It's a .tsx file, which I have no idea what it is. Ay, ay, ay. I'm gonna say rewrite this as an HTML file. All right, and we'll see if that's enough. So here's what it did for me. If you guys are looking at my screen, I don't know what file this is. This is a TSX one. So this is what it did for me last time. Notice that the file ending is something that I have no idea what it is. But it, when I was practicing with this earlier this morning, it created a nice HTML file that if I were to open it up, it actually works in my browser. And so what I was going to show you guys, as long as it's an HTML file, that if I click download, it downloaded hopefully a .html. If not, talk to the AI, say, hey, do this again. But watch what I can do. So now I can get this out to students. I'm just going to upload this file to my drive. And we're going to try this out with you guys. I'm hoping this is going to work. Let me share this. You're going to need to download this onto your computer for yourselves. All right. It won't just open from your drive. You have to download it on your computer and then open it up. And let's just see if this works. Again, a little untested. We're doing the Wild West today. So click on that. I'll try it on my end. Oh, good. Yeah, okay. Look at on the left-hand side, there's a download button. Do you see that on the left? Next to page 1 of 1. That's where you're going to download it. And then tell me if it worked. Once you've downloaded it, open it. Hey, it works. Okay. So as long as it's an HTML file, okay, that was the thing. And let me go back to my original prompt. Looks like it's working for most of us out there. I don't feel like that .tsx file, whatever the heck that was, would have worked. Let's just see what it did. It does look like it, yeah, it gave me a new one. So when I reprompted it and say, hey, rewrite this as an HTML file, it did actually do that. So I feel like it would have worked. All right. So be careful about that ending. That's kind of confusing. If you don't know what that is, I can help you out. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 2 o'clock. I want to respect everybody's time. I do want to do a bonus section that will be available in the video if you want to check it out. Otherwise, there's the link to the feedback survey I'm going to do, and I'm not going to look to see if you guys are all getting off. Try not to watch the numbers completely go away. All right. My ego, right? No, it's fine. I don't care. Click on that link. Do the feedback survey. Today's session was called Unlocking AI in Your Instruction. We do have another tool here that I want to respect and show you if you want to, and that's up to you. All right. Thanks. If any of you guys are heading out, that's fine too. I wanted to show you this here. So the link to that survey is available to you. You can start on that if you wanted to. We found out yesterday, we did this face-to-face here, Google training. Google has switched around some of the stuff. I want you to click on and open up the sidebar here. So let's go to a brand new chat. Just going to go to gemini.google.com. I'll put the link to that here in the chat. Let's open up that sidebar. So click on that little cute diamond in the upper left and look for the word GEMS, G-E-M-S. If you've never used GEMS before, here's where it's going to be. This is what I was saying. Google has switched it around a little bit. Find it underneath the gears. So the settings, look at the very bottom left. Look for that gear symbol. If you don't have GEMS in your toolbar on the left, you can find it underneath the settings. All right, Annie's got it. Once you click on it, I want you guys to click plus new gem. think gems are, so I like overcomplicated them before. I had AI write the instructions for the gem, and like it's just too much. It's just make one as a human. It's easy. We're going to click on plus new gem. In fact, I feel like if I give you this link in the chat, that'll help you create one right now. So we're going to type in, the name was going to be AI Tutor. The description, what is a gem? A gem is a prompt that you can use over and over and over again for some task that you want to repeat, for example, right? So an AI Tutor gem would be if we enter in the topic or the standard, the AI Tutor is going to help me learn the topic, right? And that's all it has to be. So the description is going to be for our AI Tutor, input the topic or standard. And then our instructions, and I'll put that into the chat. You just copy and paste it if you want. Then our instructions, nice and simple. Act as an AI tutor and coach the user on the selected topic or standard. Ask context if needed. Do not provide copy and pastable answers. Just guide the user towards a better understanding. Integrate assessment throughout. Something like that, right? I've just made that up. Boom. All right, I'm going to put that into our chat as well, and that's all it has to be. I click save. And try it out. Click start chat. Thanks, William. All right, pretty cool, right? That AI tutor, if you're looking at my screen here, all I had to do now is just type in that topic, and now I've got something that will help me out. And by the way, when I get to topic 7.4, I don't have to rewrite and create a new gem. It's going to be for anything really, right? Including your classes. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you hanging out with me the extra 4 minutes for that bonus. I'll see you soon. Please use that feedback survey and be kind. Or don't, I don't care. Be honest. All right. Just know that I'm going to bring the landing from a little bit better for my second period when I do this next week. See you guys. Be well. Adios. Have a good day.